Again, I'm Judy Pryor-Ramirez. I'm here at the New School, and today I have the great joy of also moderating our panel here that we have with the young men that we have cultivated with our partnership through the Exalt program, which is an organization here in New York City to support young men who have been involved in the court system or criminal justice system. Let me introduce the young men. I have some brief bios since we don't have their information exactly in the program, but I'd like to read to you today about who they are as they share their time with us today. First, let me introduce Donnell Ross. Donnell is currently in the 12th grade at Vanguard High School. He was born in Boston but raised in Harlem, and he has had several accomplishments, including getting his first job at the age of 15 at a daycare center, participating in peer mediation at school, graduating from the Exalt program, and creating an audio documentary through an alumni workshop at Exalt. Donnell is also an ally to the LGBTQ issues and is an active member of his school's LGBT club. Next, we have Isaiah Scott. Isaiah is a 17-year-old senior at Lafayette High School. He loves playing basketball and is interested in technology. He is a recent graduate of Exalt and will be attending Buffalo State University in the fall. So, gentlemen, as we talked on the phone and prepped today, why don't you open up and tell us about your experience? What's it like being in school today? You can reflect on your time in elementary school, middle school, or currently in high school, but we want to know, what's it like right now for you as young men in school?
Well, I'll talk about high school. High school is pretty much easy to me, but the only thing I don't like about New York State high schools is the regents that we have to take, because I think like it doesn't really reflect on how good a student shows or is good at work. I think that they should just have like at the end of the year a big test, like how they do like in North Carolina, stuff like that, and like that should show if the kids learned what the teachers taught them throughout the year.
Great. Thank you. Donnell?
My experience started like back in middle school when like I started seeing like real life things happening with like gang violence, people getting jumped, weed, bad influences, bullying, and like that followed me all the way into like my high school. And I went like, when I first started high school, I went to Bread and Roses, located on 135th in Edgecombe, and that wasn't a good school. And like when I was like involved in the streets, like I started like following the same path, and then that path followed me in high school, and then I had a bad reputation where like people were chasing me, you know, trying to like fight me and hurt me. Then I had to get a transfer. When I got my transfer, I decided to like make a change. And when I made that change, like my first year in Vanguard High School, I made the honor roll. In the honor roll, and then I became part of peer mediation, because like peer mediation is where like two peer mediators sit down with like the two peers that's having a problem, just to like find a solution to the problem, just to avoid any other further negative problems, you know. And then after I was done with the peer mediation, I am still a peer mediator, but like after that, then I decided to join the LGBT club, because like I see that there's no problem with them, because they're the same as us and we're humans and we all have rights. Thank you.
So now we'd like to hear you talk to us about like what you might have wanted to see different or more of in your educational experience.
One thing I like to see different is like in public schools, they don't teach us like the real stuff that we need to know. They just teach us like stuff that's to get us past. Like in the program Exalt that I was going to, my senior teacher, Mr. Douglas, he taught us stuff that will actually help us and have a big impact on our lives throughout. And like in school, they don't really teach us stuff that we need to learn. And I think that they should change that, teach us stuff that will help us go on in life.
Like my co-mate Isaiah just said, like in public schools, they don't teach us the right things. When I came to Exalt, my superintendent teacher, he taught me rates on like America period, and also on like Black American youth and like Caucasian people. And some of the rates were like, you know, majority of us is like a majority of us get convicted, but like it's not just us that's just going into prisons, you know, it's also Caucasian people. And I just happen to be the best of both sides, African American and Caucasian. And I could tell you my experience with that. And my experience is like, you know, it's not whether you're African American or Caucasian, is what you make of it, is what resources you use around you to use for your benefits. You know, so like I would, like Isaiah said, I would like to have like us taught more what we're supposed to know than what we already know.
I'm just going to go off script a little bit. You both talked about the things that you feel the schools are teaching you that don't seem to be very useful. What are those things? Could you elaborate for the group here today and tell us your critique of what's currently being taught to you that you don't feel will be as beneficial as some of the other things you have learned? And take your time and think.
Well, I would like to say like music, because like music is not always a good influence for us. But then again, we also don't need music in our life really like that, because that is not what's gonna make us smarter, you know, or make us pay more attention. It actually influences us to like do negative things.
I'll say, like in history, like they talk about like Rosa Parks and stuff like that, but they don't go deeper in depth about what happened with the blacks in Black History Month and stuff. And like Black History Month just passed in February, and public schools did not speak on it at all, and I think that they should have.
So I hear you both talking about some things. I hear Donnell talking about the arts, which is often, as we as researchers and educators know, are often come first in the budgets for budget cuts. We also hear Isaiah talking about what I would term as culturally relevant curriculum and how that's lacking in our public schools. So what they're saying are things that we as folks in this field know, right? Know to be true, and we're hearing this confirmed here today. So with that said, as we think about what's happening and what's not happening, let me ask sort of the last question before we open it up for Q&A. What policies or reforms would you suggest as young people to policymakers, the researchers here in this room today? What would you suggest?
I'll suggest like people should like go for, I guess, to the Board of Education, like tell them like teach more about, go deep in depth about the Black History Month, and like teach the kids stuff that they like want to learn. Just don't teach them stuff like they really don't care about.
I would recommend that like people make more companies and organizations similar to Exalt and the program called The Door. Because like it keeps us off the streets, and like it helps us articulate our minds, and you know, get like job experience, internships, and etc.
Great, thank you. Let me, for the room, so folks in the room can hear from your perspective, what is Exalt? What has that experience been for you as a young person, and any other reflections you might want to say about this particular program?
Exalt is a program for youths that have been in the criminal justice system, and it helps youth stay out the streets. And Exalt, it taught me many things. It taught me how to excel at a proper interview. Exalt provided me with an internship, which I took, and I got a job out of that. Exalt taught me how to code switch, and it helped me with public speaking.
Great.
For me, Exalt like did provide me with an internship. It helped me notice like I had talents that I did not know about. It helped me articulate my mind and articulate myself more. It helped me code switch and change my personality and like make me into a better person and change the path I was heading on to.
Can you tell us where your internships were and what code switching means to you?
Well, my internship was in Red Hook, Brand New Noise. It was a internship where a man named Richard Upchurch, he made his own recorders, and I liked the internship because I wanted to go in the business field, and I want to be an entrepreneur. So he taught me more on like how to run your own business.
And what does code switching mean to you, Isaiah?
And code switching means like you know when you with your friends, you in the streets, you talk, you know how y'all talk, but when you like in a office or you in a serious place, you know how to speak to people.
Okay.
Proper speak to people.
Donnell, where was your internship and what does code switching mean to you?
My internship was located on 32nd Broadway. It was called DBI. And my position was doing research for real estate and construction workers based on a project that was located in New Jersey called, I can't remember right at this moment, but when it come back to me, I'll tell you.
Okay.
But code switch for me was like, you know how you hang around with your friends and your buddies and you get to like play around, say what's up, and talk like and slang. And then like when you're like in a professional environment, you know how to switch and talk well mannered and with more professionalism.
Great. Well, those are all the questions that I have for you that I think lays some context for our audience about who you are. And now I'd like to invite our audience members to come up and ask questions or make a comment briefly for our panelists here today.
Thank you very much, Donnell and Isaiah, for your courage and your candor. It's not easy to sit in here. It's even nervous for me to come on the side, and I'm not even opening and watching. But you guys did a great job. It's nice for you to come and speak on behalf of your program. I think that's great. I think I'm an educator of over 17 years, primarily with long-term after-school programming, long-term mentoring. And so kind of wanted to hear a little bit more, aside from maybe Exalt, like what do you think? Donnell, I beg to differ. Music is key, but that maybe not for everyone. And maybe what you're referring to as music, we could probably debate on too. Because I think, today's music versus some of the other music and classically trained music is different.
I agree that you're right.
I opened an argument. Go ahead.
You're right, though. It depends on what type of music that you're promoting. So you do have a point.
I think, yeah, I appreciate that. I just want to let you know, it's more about exploration, and it's not necessarily to teach the youth about becoming artists. We don't, a little bit of background about myself. I'm here representing the Boys and Girls Harbor, and we have a conservatory for music, so we teach kids on a very formal level and to explore music. But then we also do after-school programming for that. I didn't mean to come up here and make a pitch, but I really wanted to give that background. But I wanted to learn more because I worked on the previous panel, I worked with I Have a Dream Foundation for a long time as well. And so I want to know more from you directly, aside from, maybe just more culturally relevant work, like you said, Isaiah, like things you want to learn about. What else could you see? Because we identify it's hard in the schools, right? So what other programs do you think, not only for yourself, but you could think some of your peers that maybe aren't in Exalt or in other, or even your siblings maybe, say, that are younger than you, that could probably properly impact them, I want to say, or just like give us one or two nuggets, ideas on what else we could do out there for the youth.
I think like we can make more activities such as, teaching and opening up gyms. So like, like, have you ever heard of the program called like the Boys and Club program? Boys and Girls Club program.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so like in that program, a few of my friends are in, which helps like keep them off the streets. They go after school, do their homework, and play basketball. So I think like programs like that will help too. And it's right in the community where like projects are, so it's not that far, and it's free.
There you go. So more money for that. How about you, Isaiah?
I'll say like more internships, like help kids like develop skills for whatever career they want to go to, which will ultimately help them in the future.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much for both of you. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is James Bravo. I'm currently program coordinator for the Urban Male Leadership Academy Scholars Program at Baruch College. It's relatively new, going into our 5th year. It's under the CUNY Black Male Initiative. And I just want to applaud these young gentlemen here. Definitely great job. I would say, honestly, you're already a step ahead of me because I didn't start public speaking. I didn't start becoming into panelists until my sophomore year in college, right? Coming out of high school, I think one of my, and this is going to one of your questions that we weren't really liking and not getting out of college, is that these opportunities to take Black and Latino males and put them in situations like this and give them more confidence, right? Give them more confidence, and also, I believe one of you was saying that the program you're currently in is actually making you realize different strengths that you never knew you had, right? And I applaud you again for that. My quick question is, because I do a lot of self-reflecting, right? I graduated from college, right? And that's very awesome. I'm part of that. Little bit of a good statistics, right, for Black and Latino males. But regarding self-reflection, have you guys started self-reflecting on where your lives are right now, and what could have been if it wasn't for your current program right now? And if it's okay to be honest, because sometimes honesty is the best policy even within yourselves. If it wasn't for this program, where you think you would be at right now or leading up into the future?
If it wasn't for Exalt, I think like I would still be on the streets, not really doing well, just thinking about like when the next weed bag gonna come and stuff like that. But for Exalt, I did like a whole 360, and I'm glad that like I had the Exalt program instead of the Cases program, because like Exalt actually taught me. Like, it taught me and it benefited me. And it helped me realize, like, I got a lot better options than being on the street and just throwing my life away. And I just thank God that, like, Exalt came through. Thank you.
With Exalt, I wouldn't be here right now, but I still would have been doing good in school and stuff like that. But Exalt, like, it helped me like believe in myself more, and it helped me like think like I could do anything that I want to be. Cause at first when I got offered the this program, I wasn't gonna do it, but I thought to myself like this opportunity doesn't come to everybody, so I might as well take it. And when I took it, now I believe in myself more. I believe I can do whatever I want to be.
All right, well, thank you.
I'm gonna go over here.
Hello, you can't see me, so I'm just gonna move this. Sorry for tech people. Hi, I'm Drina Davis. I'm from the Center for Community Alternatives. My question's to Isaiah. You said about culturally relevant subjects at school, and you spoke on that, you touched on it twice, and I was like, that must be really important to him. And I wanted to know, what do you think, or how do you think learning more about your culture, not only in 28 days, but within, the school, whether it's in math and sciences, because a lot of people don't know that there's a lot of Black people who, contributed to that. And so how do you think that would impact youth in school when learning about culturally relevant things in different subjects?
I believe it will help because I guess it will make youth believe in themselves more, because like most youth, they only know about like the major people like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, and like if they really like learn more about them and others that actually had an impact on life, they'll actually believe in themselves more and want to be one of them, or even better.
So more of like relating to.
Yeah. Like,
oh, you did this and you did this and you attributed to society this way, so I know I can.
Yeah.
On different levels. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
The two gentlemen, I don't remember which one spoke, but you spoke about what you were learning in school wasn't relevant to what in real life, and it made me think about, were they teaching you Greek history or something like that? When I was in school, I was like, what in God's name does this have to do with me being able to support my family? My question for you, so I have a 9-year-old, and my 9-year-old goes to school on the Upper West Side. He goes to a charter school. He's doing really, really well. And I tell him, first I tell him is that he's not a white boy, and that he's a Black boy, and he has to be twice as good. So we send him for math classes on the weekend so that he can do really, really, really math. And I want him to understand that education, in my view, and this is just my view, for Black families, it's not about learning the pursuit of life, the meaning of life. It's a utility, it's a tool. How do I move my family from one social income class level to the next? So could you tell me, were you trying to say that they should be teaching you something that you could use in terms of employment, or was it in terms of knowledge? Were you just saying that it wasn't useful what you were learning? And what did you mean by that comment in terms of you wanted something that was more useful?
I'll say like useful in both aspects, like employment and knowledge, cause like in schools they teach you, like in math they teach you basic math, history, and stuff like that. But I'll say like teach you stuff like that could help you on, it would go along with you in college. 'Cause like in my school they don't prepare us well enough for college. They basically like leave us on our own to go and experience college for ourselves, and then when students do bad, then they want to make it seem like it's not their fault. So I'll say like help them in college and then help them after college.
Okay, you want to say?
Well, like my co-mate said, well, it's for knowledge, and like, so it's for knowledge. But like my thing is, I feel like employment is a lot, cause like seeing how African American youth employment rate is like so low, people claim. Like I think it's good to teach us like in both knowledge and employment, because knowledge is the key, but how are you gonna live with no money?
The last thing I just want to say is I'm going to give you my cards. I know you mentioned real estate. I'm an asset manager. I can help you in that regard. And I love entrepreneurs, so if I can be helpful in terms of capital raising for any future project, we could be looking at the next multimillionaire here sitting on this stage. Thank you.
All right, take our last question here.
Hi, my name is Jean-Viette Williams, and I actually want to applaud Donnell and Isaiah for being brave, for being here. And I also want to say that you're on the right path because we're dealing with a system, an education system that is like over 100 years old, right? And a lot of it has not been, and this is throughout the world, not just in New York City, and it hasn't been reviewed or revised. So the knowledge that we're supposed to be getting, in my perspective, is outdated, right? And it hasn't been renewed. And I do a lot of work in the Bronx at high schools, right? And I moved from after school to doing development workshops with young men and young women. And they're not interested in learning about the 3 Greek pillars and all this kind of stuff because you don't need that in college, unless you go to art, right? But they're interested in learning how to DJ. And you can learn so much about DJing. You can learn how to build equipment, you can learn about how vinyl is made, you can learn about rotations, you can learn so much, right? And you have math there, you have history, you have music, you have art. So we also have to start looking at new ways of how our youth and our children are learning what we consider basic skills that are not basic skills for them. So they have to start determining what those skills are that they need and how to get them, because they know how to get them. I think educators need to challenge and channel that. So I want to thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any last words you would like to share with our group here today, Donnell and Isaiah?
I wanted to say I was nervous the whole time, but it was an honor to be here.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Well, I wanna thank you both so much. We are thrilled and honored to have you and that you could share your voice today. Your voices were critically important to this conference. Today, in this conference, we are challenging traditional conference norms by centering your knowledge, your lived experiences right here in the middle of our conference program. So I am thankful, I am grateful for your time and your courage and your bravery. Thank you so much.